welcome to day 28 of my Just Ship It challenge, and today I made super progress. I finished the third perspective, the size perspective, and I also improved a little bit the look and feel of the others, and I'm actually quite happy with the result. I think it's super close to be as I envisioned it for this first MVP state tooling, and I'm getting less and less embarrassed to show it to anybody, and getting more and more excited actually to get more people and more eyes on it. And I will have today is Wednesday, tomorrow I have a meeting with my second early adopter, and I'm super excited about that. I'm looking forward to the feedback on what he thinks about the tool. And I'm also going to stream only shortly today because I am super excited about finishing the tool and getting everything that I have still to do done, which is, well, the perspective are now in a very good state. I will have like a little bit nitty gritty here and there just to make the look and feel nicer. And I will get the website ready. I actually had another person sign up by just sending me a screenshot of the sign up part of the website that doesn't work right now. So this is obviously not good. Well, the website isn't live yet. But I have to get the website live, and then I have to get it on the custom domain of our domain. And then I think I'm set, right? So then I don't know exactly what to do. Maybe announce it a little bit on Twitter and take it from there, I think. But I'm really excited that the tool is in a good state, I would say. And I have a lot of plans of what I'm gonna do with the tool afterwards, the next iteration, so to say. As I told you, I will improve the architecture of the tool a little bit. I will refactor a lot of things that, initially when I was prototyping, I thought this is the straightforward thing to do it, right? And there's like this idea of you shouldn't do premature optimizations, right? So I really try to keep it very simple. But now I have a better idea of how the tool actually works and what I want from the tool, and so I'm gonna refactor quite a bit and also improve the testing and make sure there is even more confidence in the data that I'm analyzing and the results that I'm putting. Yeah. What else? I had another founder meeting, so this was my third Founders Club meeting, and it went really well. A very interesting person that I met today. And very much on a different side. Sometimes I feel like if life gives you actually what you're looking for, and well, it's called availability bias, right? So when you buy a new car and it's a Ford, and somehow you see Fords all over the place, right? It's the availability bias that we have. And so life gives you what you're looking for, sort of, just because you are biased for it. But this person that I met today is, I would call him a salesperson. Like, he's a founder, but he's the business side of the founder spectrum, right? And everything about him is like a salesperson. I was like very engineering and like seeing all the problems with my with my business and here and there, and very analytical. And he was painting this wonderful picture of his business, and also of mine. I mean, I talked maybe 5 minutes with him about my business, and he had like this complete picture of what he envisioned for so very sales personally, but I mean in a very good way, right? I was extremely impressed. It's I think the opposite of of what I am. As I said, I'm more this analytical person, and I'm spotting errors and problems, and here I could improve and there I could improve, and how should we do this? In the not such a salesperson, but if you followed my journey and my story, you know that this is something on my to-do list. So while he was explaining about his wonderful business and envisioning my business, I somehow read through the lines and extracted a lot of knowledge actually, and a lot of, I think I extracted more or less an algorithm and missing parts of what I should do to get better in this sales process. And so what he mentioned a few things, right? So he mentioned, for example, that he has like a CRM, like a relationship management system, right? And obviously I know about that, and I know I should have something like that, but you could really see how he uses it, right? So he has like this list of a lot of people that he sells his solution to. So he has no marketing, I don't think he has anything else, but he's just a direct salesperson. And so he has like, I envision probably an Excel where he has a long list of people. And then he just picks up the phone and calls them, right? But I think this is really, it's a simplification, right? It's not picking up the phone and call them. It's actually, he uses warm introductions. So he asks his network, so he knows exactly who is connected to whom, and then he asks for introductions. And I don't know. Anyway, what I decided to do probably in November and December, and probably it takes me a long time, let's say by spring 2021, I know my personas of who should be the customer. I have an idea of a customer, right? And we talked about this at the very beginning, that I know sort of who the customer is, but I know about my customer in a very, I would say, a very generic way, right? So how I envision this customer has several dimensions, but some dimensions that are more important to me, and I think they are again very technical. So I envision this engineer and how this engineer works. But what we were talking about today is that actually there's like the person that wants to use your solution, and then it's the person that will buy your solution. And this can be the same person, but it can be actually two different things. And then depending on the companies that you envision that will buy your product, this person will have a different job title. They will have like different responsibilities. And so I think I will develop different personas for different organizations, right? And then thinking about how could I actually reach this person and what are they looking for, something like that. And play around with this idea. And I think that the personas that I envisioned are really, they are missing a lot of information, a lot of characteristics, especially again from the sales perspective, right? So it's not a holistic description of a person. It's I was again very much from what does this person want to see, and very product focused, but not very much sales focused. So how would you make a buying decision? I never thought about that. Like, how would you decide to buy or to invest in a product or not? Or what's their role, how did you get the funding, something like that. And so I think I have to do my homework on that a little bit more, and then also envision like this will be different for very small companies to larger companies, to large organization, right? So this will be a very different persona, and sometimes will be one, or maybe it's even three, right? And I should really work on that. And I also think it would be helpful to come up with a couple of names, actual names, like looking in my network and then trying to identify those people in my network, and just sending, writing them down in an Excel or Notion or, something like that. And and I think this will bring me a step closer to what I want. I mean, I think we all dream of people just coming and lining up and saying, oh, I want to use your tool, I want to, be your customer or your user or whatnot. But realistic speaking, probably that's not happening. So I think it would be wise for me to have something like that. And I think it will make things clearer and will be the first step for me towards, more business-oriented sale process thing, I think. So as long as I cannot hire somebody doing that for me, that would be the optimal solution, I think, to have a person that does that knows their stuff, and that wants to do that, that's eager to do that. As long as I cannot do that, I think I have to go through it. And this is, I think, so this was a very interesting a very interesting discussion with this person, and I think I learned a lot also from the mindset. I can't repeat everything, right? It would be strange, but I'm very analytical, and so I think I realized a lot of things based on what he was saying, how he was saying, which language he was using, and also the kind of ideas that were triggered by different things, right? And so we were like the opposite of the opposite, right? Like he said something and I would think in this direction and he would think in a complete different direction, but extremely interesting. And yeah, so this was a good encounter today. I actually signed up for another matchmaking founders endeavor. It's called Lunch Club. And so I will have a match next week. So this will be interesting as well. So I'm planning on doing that regularly. I think it's really nice to meet different founders, and it's an interesting experience. I was also a little bit thinking about what's the goal of that, and how do I position myself in that, because until today I was really going into those matchmaking sessions just with a lot of curiosity for the other person, and probably mainly driven by my loneliness that I have sitting here in my office and not being able to work with somebody in a co-working space or something like that, right? And on a very, very personal level, I think. But the last 3 encounters somehow taught me, I think, that not everybody does it the same way, right? So again, I had the feeling that maybe the first founder also had this personal interest on the forefront, but the other 2 definitely didn't, right? So the second one that I met, he wanted to sell me something, right? So he gave me a lot of advice, and backed in that advice was his tool, right? So actually the founder match thing with me was a little sales event for him, a little bit a pitching event, which I don't mind, because I still think I learned a lot about just how he pitched it, and as I said, I'm very analytical, so I was sitting and just listening how he tries to come from trying to cover something in like advice, and the solution would be the same, I think, for every person that he meets, right? Like the solution is like, oh, you have this problem, and so he packed everything, my problems, and he tried to dissect them, and then like out of magic, his tool and his company is the solution for everything, right? And so it was really interesting to see, because somehow it was very obvious from the beginning how this story will end. So it was a very interesting thing for me. And today the founder, a super interesting person, a very smart person, as I said, but over and over sales. And so I was thinking of, what is his motivation for meeting me and talking with me in this context, right? Like things have somehow, most people have some purpose for something. And I didn't feel like making personal connection was really the purpose. It felt like the dominating thing, probably is also one purpose, but the dominating thing was to leave a positive impression. That was my my conclusion, right? So I think he meets a lot of people, and he also said he meets a lot of people, and I think he meets a lot of people to really have this network. As I told you, he has like this a list, probably. I envision he has a list or something. He was talking about the CRM, but I think probably an Excel file or something, or maybe a Notion file or something. And so he has these people, and I think he wants to leave positive traces, which somehow steer your whole conversation, right? So you wouldn't start, you will talk about something very different, right? So we wouldn't be able, he gave me a lot of advice, I had a lot of questions, but I wouldn't be in a position to give him any advice, because there was no openness about it, right? So he portrayed his business, and it was so perfect that there's obviously nothing that you can, discuss or help or brainstorm about or something. And this made me think, and I think it's a very interesting strategy, and he probably meets, he said that he does that several times a week, so he meets probably a lot of people that way, and I think he just tries to leave traces all over where people are impressed, maybe. I don't know. That was my impression. And so I think I also, so because of those 3 encounters, right? The first one was, I think, the most similar to my position, where you want to just meet people and discuss and make personal relationships with not a lot of direct business connection, right? Or purpose, or I don't know the English word. Hintergedanken would be the German one. Like back of your thought, you have like, this is the main reason why you're doing this. The second, as I said, was a sales pitch for people. So I think it's a one medium to find customers. And the third is like leaving traces of being in the forefront of on mind for people, for, you know, something, a picture that you would portray. And I'm thinking I'm gonna keep it the way that I do it right now, so in this very personal space discussions, but depending on how the next one go, I mean, 3 is not really a large number of people, right? But depending on how the next one goes, I might either change my strategy about it, like be more strategic about, or I really have to think. Maybe it's not the best channel for like this personal encounters. Maybe there should be like a community that I meet the same people all over again, right? Like, I don't know, maybe it's like a it's like a speed dating where you really try to impress the other person, and I haven't understood the game yet. Like, so a lot to think about there. As I said, I signed up for another lunch box or something. How did I call it? Lunch meeting, something like that. And I will see how that goes, and I see if people are, you know, what kind of motivation they have to do it, and if it matches somehow what I do. Right now I'm still learning really a lot, so it makes sense for me to do it either way. But for the personal, interpersonal connection, I think it might be that I need something else. So I was actually thinking on Twitter, or talking about this on Twitter, that I will start my own little community, because I'm missing just to have like, and I don't want a large community. There are a lot of really large communities out there, but I'm getting very easily lost here. But I'm imagining like 1 to 5 max people that are, you know, coming together and discussing the things. There's actually Indie Worldwide, and there was a meetup today, but it didn't work out for me. I had to bring the kids to bed, so I couldn't join. It would be even better to have something like another person is organizing it, and I'm just a attendee. That would be nicer. Anyway, talking a lot about those things. I think it's important. It's important to build up your network. I'm not on board yet with this very strategic way that I see others are doing it. Not sure if I change my mind on it. I would rather have it like in a very authentic way, and in a, I don't know, interpersonal way. But yeah, let's see how I change my mind, or if I change my mind. And that's it more or less for today. I'm gonna implement actually a little bit more on my tool. I'm really eager to finish it and to make it in an even nicer tool that it can be. And there are 3 days left. So see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. and have a good day. Bye bye.